Alright folks, I hope you're doing well today. Now I got a PM yesterday from a guy who wanted to ask some questions about gold and silver. He literally doesn't know anything about gold and silver, so he was just asking for my advice about a few things. I was going to reply by private message, but I thought it might be useful for people out there. But let me make it clear that this video is just about the very basics of buying gold and silver. There's no in-depth information here, so please don't leave comments about me having wasted your time. Switch the video off now if you are very familiar with buying gold and silver. This is just a guide to the very basics. So the first thing that the guy asked was, where do I buy gold and silver from? I mean, you can just do a simple search on the internet, and there are lots of gold and silver dealers out there. I mean, I could give you the name of the one that I use, but that's probably not going to be much use because it's in Germany. So I'll put a link to the one that I use in Germany in case there are any people from Germany or the surrounding countries who want to order from them. I've always had my deliveries come promptly from them, and the prices are pretty good as well. I've also used a company called CoinInvest who deliver Europe-wide, and I didn't have any problems with them either, so I'll put a link to those in the sidebar. If you know of any good silver or gold dealers, if you're in the US or elsewhere, maybe you can put the name in the comments section as well as the country that you're in, so people reading this can check it out. It'd be nice to get a list of recommended dealers. So yeah, it's very easy to buy gold and silver over the internet. I mean, I've also got some reasonable deals on eBay as well. I keep my eye on eBay. You can pick up reasonably priced coins and bars on there, so that's worth checking out as well. Secondly, I won't go into the reasons why gold and silver are a good investment. What I'll do is I'll put a link in the sidebar to a book by Peter Schiff called Crash Proof. I mentioned it a couple of videos ago. If you read chapter 9 of that book, that's a very good introduction as to why gold and silver are such good investments, and in fact why it's really imperative that you invest your fiat currencies, your worthless paper, into precious metals. So you might like to download this book and read chapter 9. Saves me going into the whole issue of why you should be buying gold and silver, basically. So next the guy asked about how should I buy the metal, in what kind of format, so to speak, i.e. coins or bars. I mean, firstly I'll say it's always essential to buy physical metal, really, because you can invest in gold mining stocks and like certificates and things like that, but I've got no time for that, really. If I'm buying precious metals, then I want to have physical possession of it. It's the only safe way as far as I'm concerned. So buying physical bullion is a must, really. Now you can buy bars and you can buy coins. If you go on any online dealer, you'll see that you can buy bars and coins. Now bars always offer a little bit better value for money than coins, because there's usually a bigger premium on the coins. So if you want to try and get the best value for your money, then it's best to go for bars. And obviously the bigger the bar that you get, the better value it's going to be. So if you buy a kilo of silver, it's going to work out a bit cheaper, well, sometimes quite a lot cheaper per ounce than if you buy the same weight in coins. That just stands to reason. So if you're looking to make the most of your money, then I recommend buying bars, and the bigger the better that you can afford, really. That's the best value. Yeah, so gold or silver? Well, I mean, gold's currently trading just off its all-time high because we're seeing a dip at the moment. And I mean, personally, I'm not going to buy gold, but that's mainly because I had some gold about a year ago and I had to sell it because I needed the cash. So I'm a bit reluctant to buy more gold just because of that, of having to sell it back then. I mean, plus I can't afford any gold at the moment. But Peter Schiff certainly thinks that there's a lot more potential in gold, and he thinks that it could go to 5,000 euros an ounce. And he's been spot on about lots of things. And considering the state of the US economy and also the UK economy, I think that's perfectly realistic. I think gold can go a lot higher. So, I mean, I'm not a financial advisor, but yeah, I mean, if you can afford to get into gold, then I definitely would, especially during this dip. I mean, personally, I like to buy silver. It's a lot more affordable, you know, you get a lot more for your money, but the main reason is I just think it's an undervalued metal. You might like to check out Stellar Concepts channel. I'll put a link to that in the sidebar, especially his early videos. If you go back to his first videos on YouTube, he talks a lot about how silver is very undervalued and how the gold-silver ratio, you know, is completely out of its traditional sync and things like that. So check that out, and that'll give you a good explanation as to why there is a lot of potential in silver, and there's potentially a lot more potential returns from silver than there is from gold, actually. Yeah, so both are great though. I mean, if you can afford it, then get some of both, obviously. The next question the guy asked was about where to store silver. Now, I mean, obviously there are like security deposit boxes and things like this, or you could store it in the bank. But personally, I would just say that's a big no-no. If I have silver, then I want to store it in a place I know it's safe, and I certainly don't feel it would be safe in a bank safety deposit box. You know, we all know what happened in the early 20th century in the US when the government confiscated gold. So you want to have it somewhere safe. I mean, you could keep it in your home, or you could keep it in the house of a third party, which is what I do. I mean, if you're worried about the security aspect, you could maybe install a safe. Probably wouldn't cost so much to install a safe in your house to keep it in. I mean, gold is actually quite small, so it's very easy to hide somewhere. But, you know, that's the risk you take. You need to hide it somewhere where you're not going to forget about it or no one's going to steal it. So installing some kind of safe in your basement or something could be a good idea, but I would definitely store it in a place where you know it's safe, and for me that's definitely not a bank or a company, put it that way. That's about it, really. If you've got any questions, just drop them in the comments section. Like I say, this is just a pure basic guide to buying gold and silver. Nothing technical here. There are plenty of other channels out there, such as Stellar Concepts, who deal with the real technicalities of gold and silver. But I thought this might be useful to people who are new to it. And if I was in the US or the UK, I most definitely would be investing any savings in gold and silver, because the UK and the US economies particularly are just, you know, they're just completely, bankrupt really, and they're just going down. I don't think it's going to be too much longer till we see a complete crash of the dollar, so if you hold in dollars, you definitely want to get into some precious metals. That's it for today anyway. As I say, leave the details of any good dealers you know, or if you've got any more tips, or if you've got any questions, just stick them in the comments section. Alright, have a good day then. Cheers.